This is problem number 10 from section 5.6. In this problem it says, in 2000 the population of a country reached 1 billion, and in 2025 it is projected to be 1.4 billion. Find values for C and A so that P of x equals CA raised to the power of x minus 2000 models the population of a country in year x. So we're looking for C and A. So we don't know C and we don't know A. But they give us coordinates and they say in 2000 there were 1 billion, and in 2025 there were 1.4 billion. And so X is the years and P of X is the population. All right, so how are we going to go about doing this? Well, first of all, we probably want to use the year 2000 because we don't know what A is. And if we use the year 2000, we get 2000 minus 2000, which will be 0, and A to the 0 we know is 1, so it'll cancel out, which is important. So let's use this to find C. So our first goal is to find C. And by the way, this is part A. So find C using 2000, 1. So we're going to say 1 equals C A to the 2000 minus 2000 when we plug them in, which is going to give you 1 equals C A to the 0. A to the 0 is 1, so we get 1 equals C. So now we know that that is actually equal to 1. Once we know that what C is, we can actually find A. So let's go ahead and say find A using now this coordinate 2025 and 1.4. So when we write the equation now, we can use 1 for C. So we're going to say 1.4 equals C, which is 1, times A to the 2025 minus 2000. So we end up with 1.4 equals A to the 25th and now we want to get A by itself. So if we want to get A by itself, we got to take the 25th root of A to the 25th on each side. So we're going to do the root. So this is A to the 25th. We're going to do the root of the 25th root of A, and we're also going to do the 25th root of 1.4. Sorry for writing that kind of weird. So this is going to be A now, because the 25th root of 25th power just gives you, they cancel, it just give you A. And now we're going to plug in our calculator. Now how do we plug in a 25th root of 1.4 in the calculator? Well, remember 25th root is 1.4 to the 1, let's use a fraction, to the 1 over 25 power. And that gives you 1.01354 or 355. So this is 1.01, and I think 355 would be enough digits to use for A. So that is part A. We found A and we found C, and now our equation says P of x equals 1 times 1.01355 to the x minus 2000. So those are kind of like the three answers to part A. Estimate the country's population in 2010. So they want to know the country's population in 2010. We just take part B. We're going to say P of x equals 1 to the 1.01355. And then we're plugging in 2010, right? So 2010 minus 2000. I screwed up here. This should be, just going to write it here, This should be 2010 when we plug it in. That's going to give you, let's go ahead and plug all that in the calculator. So we get 1, I'll just put it all in parentheses. So 1, parentheses, 1.01355 to the, and then 2010 minus 2000, I'm just going to put to the 10th. That's going to give you a population of 1.14, and don't forget that the population is in billions, so that's 1.14 billion. And I should say in billions here. I'll just say in billions. Out to the right. Okay, now we need to do part C. So part C says, use P to determine the year when the country's population might reach 1.7. So now we're actually going to do some solving. We're going to take this equation and solve. So we're going to say 1.7 equals 1.01355 x minus 2000. Now I'm going to need a little extra room. So I'm going to slide up. And we're going to start to solve. And we're going to use our log laws to do it as we go. So we're going to first of all take, I want to isolate this exponential. I'm going to divide by 1. That's not going to change anything. So I'm going to write 1.7 equals 1.01355 to the x minus 2000. Now I'm going to take the natural log of each side. So I get natural log 1.7 equals natural log 1.01355 to the x minus 2000. Now the log law I'm about to use here is the log law 3, where I take the exponent and bring it to the front. So that's going to be natural log 1.7 equals x minus 2000 times natural log 1.01355. Now I'm going to divide by the natural log on each side, 1.01355. And that's going to leave you with natural log 1.7 over natural log 1.01355 equals x minus 2000. Last step is to add 2000 to each side. And when we add 2000 to each side, we get natural log 1.7 over natural log 1.01355 plus 2000 equals x. So that's going to equal, we'll plug that in the calculator. Start with a fraction bar. We're going to do natural log 1.7 over natural log, forgot to put a parenthesis here, 1.01355 plus 2000. That tells us that we're looking at a population of 1.7 in the year, looks to me like 2039. So 2039. So we'll say 2039 we will reach 1.7 billion. Hope all that makes sense.